Alright, so today we shall practice English conversations. But first, here are a few examples where we shall learn how to combine two different sentences to make one single sentence that fulfills the purpose of both the two sentences. Example 1. He thanked them. He was polite. Now these are two different sentences. Now we can make one single sentence out of these two, and that will still mean exactly the same thing which both of these have to say. The answer would be, it was polite of him to thank them. Example 2. He didn't thank them. He was rude. Now the answer is, it was rude of him not to thank them. Example 3. He spent his money. He was foolish. The answer would be, it was foolish of him to spend his money. Example 4. He didn't spend his money. He was wise. Now the answer would be, it was wise of him not to spend his money. Example 5. He locked the door. He was cautious. The answer would be, it was cautious of him to lock the door. Example 6. He didn't lock the door. He was careless. The answer would be, it was careless of him not to lock the door. Example 7. He shared the food. He was generous. The answer would be, it was generous of him to share the food. Example 8. He didn't share the food. He was selfish. The answer would be, it was selfish of him not to share the food. Example 9. He helped us. He was good. The answer would be, it was good of him to help us. Example 10. He didn't tell them. He was dishonest. It was dishonest of him not to tell them. Example 11. He answered truthfully. He was sensible. The answer would be, it was sensible of him to answer truthfully. Example 12. He offered us a ride. He was considerate. The answer would be, it was considerate of him to offer us a ride. Example 13. He didn't say anything. He was discreet. The answer would be, it was discreet of him not to say anything. Example 14. He did it that way. He was clever. The answer would be, it was clever of him to do it that way. Example 15. He didn't complain at all. He was kind. The answer would be, it was kind of him not to complain at all. Example 16. He invited us to go. He was thoughtful. The answer would be, it was thoughtful of him to invite us to go. Now here are a few sample conversations where the infinitives are after to or enough. This food is too hot to eat. Be careful. It's hot enough to burn your tongue. It will be cool enough to eat if we wait a few minutes. Yes, but let's not wait until it's too cool to enjoy. The man's explanation was too complicated to understand. He doesn't speak slowly enough for us to take notes either. He gets too excited to remember us students, I think. Are you brave enough to ask him to repeat everything? The wind is really strong today. I'm afraid it's too strong for us to consider going sailing. Definitely, it's blowing hard enough to tip a boat over. Maybe it will get calm enough later for us to go out. I couldn't finish all the work this afternoon. It was really too much to finish in one day. To tell the truth, there was enough work to keep me busy 2 days. But you're experienced enough to do it faster than anyone else. Why doesn't the company try this new method of production? The new method is too dangerous to be considered. Then will the company continue to use the old method? Yes, the old method is still safe enough to be used. Now here are again few more examples where we shall learn how to combine two different sentences to make one single sentence that fulfills the purpose of both of the two sentences. Example 1. He didn't finish it. He was very nervous. The answer would be, he was too nervous to finish it. Example 2. I didn't hear that. I was very confused. The answer would be, I was too confused to hear that. Example 3. We didn't say anything. We were angry. Now the answer would be, we were too angry to say anything. Example 4. They didn't do it. They were very discouraged. The answer would be, they were too discouraged to do it. Example 5. She didn't read that. She was very busy then. The answer would be, she was too busy then to read that. Example 6. I didn't meet them there. I was very lazy. The answer would be, I was too lazy to meet them there. Example 7. They didn't help us. They were very insulted. The answer would be, they were too insulted to help us. Example 8. She didn't return that. She was very upset. The answer would be, she was too upset to return that. Example 9. We didn't describe it well. We were very excited. The answer would be, we were too excited to describe it well. Example 10. I didn't prepare for it at all. I was very annoyed. The answer would be, I was too annoyed to prepare for it at all. Example 11. She didn't speak about it. She was very ashamed. The answer would be, she was too ashamed to speak about it. Example 12. They didn't keep it up. They were very tired by that time. The answer would be, they were too tired by that time to keep it up. Example 13. He didn't send for them. He was very discreet. The answer would be, he was too discreet to send for them. Example 14. We didn't bring it up at the meeting. We were very depressed. The answer would be, we were too depressed to bring it up at the meeting. Example 15. They didn't begin the work. They were very afraid. The answer would be, they were too afraid to begin the work. Example 16. I didn't turn the offer down. I was very interested. The answer would be, I was too interested to turn the offer down. Now here are a few more similar kind of examples where we shall form just one single sentence out of two using to and enough after the infinitives. Example 1. The food was very hot. I couldn't eat it. Now the answer would be, the food was too hot for me to eat. Example 2. The food was very hot. It burned my tongue. The answer would be, the food was hot enough to burn my tongue. Example 3. The suit is dirty. You can't wear it tomorrow. The answer would be, the suit is too dirty for you to wear tomorrow. Example 4. The suit is clean. You can wear it tomorrow. The answer would be, the suit is clean enough for you to wear tomorrow. Example 5. The water is very cold now. You can't go swimming. The answer would be, the water is too cold now for you to go swimming. Example 6. The water is quite warm now. You can go swimming. The answer would be, the water is warm enough now for you to go swimming. Example 7. The rope was very long. It reached to the bottom. The answer would be, the rope was long enough to reach to the bottom. Example 8. The rope wasn't very long. It didn't reach to the bottom. The answer would be, the rope wasn't long enough to reach to the bottom. Example 9. The rope was very short. It didn't reach to the bottom. The answer would be, the rope was too short to reach to the bottom. Example 10. I'm quite strong. I can lift that box without help. The answer would be, I'm strong enough to lift that box without help. Example 11. I'm quite weak. I can't lift that box without help. The answer would be, I'm too weak to lift that box without help. Example 12. He's very bright. He can solve the problem by himself. The answer would be, he's bright enough to solve the problem by himself. Example 13. He's upset now. He can't talk about the problem. The answer would be, he's too upset now to talk about the problem. Example 14. The work was very hard. We weren't able to finish it. The answer would be, the work was too hard for us to finish. Example 15. That method is dangerous. It can't be considered. The answer would be, that method is too dangerous to be considered. Example 16. The other method is quite safe. It can be used. The answer would be, the other method is safe enough to be used. Now, here are a few sample conversations with final prepositions. Whom is Mary talking to? She's talking to her cousin. What's she talking about? She's talking about her new job. What are Tom and Fred arguing about? They are arguing about politics. What's Tom objecting to? He's objecting to some of Fred's statements. What part of the lesson did you have trouble with? I had trouble with several parts. Whom did you explain your problems to? I explained them to Mr. Taylor. What does Tom devote his spare time to? He devotes most of it to his hobbies. What does he concentrate on mostly? On photography, I think. Whom does that woman remind you of? Is it somebody I work with? No, somebody you are very friendly with. Now I know. You mean Mary Wilson. Now here are a few examples where we shall learn what would be the questions of given statements. Example 1. He benefited from that. Now the question to this would be, what did he benefit from? Example 2. They will concentrate on that. The question to this would be, what will they concentrate on? Example 3. I should insist on that. Now the question to this would be, what should you insist on? Example 4. She contributes to that. Now the question of this would be, what does she contribute to? Example 5. He can succeed in that. Now the question to this would be, what can he succeed in? Example 6. I suffered from that. The question to this would be, what did you suffer from? Example 7. They must believe in that. The question to this would be, what must they believe in? Example 8. She's prepared for that. The question to this would be, what's she prepared for? Example 9. I recovered from that. Now the question to this would be, what did you recover from? Example 10. They will object to that. The question to this would be, what will they object to? Example 11. John can comment on that. Now the question to this would be, what can he comment on? Example 12. I wondered about that. The question to this would be, what did you wonder about? Example 13. She must consent to that. The question to this would be, what must she consent to? Example 14. They have qualified for that. Now the question to this would be, what have they qualified for? Example 15. He will worry about that. Now the question to this would be, what will he worry about? Example 16, they are quarreling over that. The question to this would be, what are they quarreling over?